I am Adam Weil, partner at White Rabbit Group. Welcome to the Pixel Perfect podcast, where we share knowledge, experiences, and motivations from creatives and entrepreneurs. All right, let's get started. I am with Lior Root and Sophia Trunzo, co-founders of Loopholes, an AI compliance platform. And in today's episode, we're going to break down why compliance has really become one of the most overlooked growth constraints when it comes to modern marketing. Lior and Sophia have worked closely with teams operating in high-risk, regulated environments where a single oversight can really delay campaigns, trigger account shutdowns, seriously impact revenue. And they work with some of our agency friends at Hawk Media and Power Digital. So I thought this would be an interesting type of kind of conversation, a little bit different than we normally have. And we're going to explore how compliance challenges show up inside real, campaign workflows, why traditional review processes can slow teams down, and what it takes to build a marketing system that is both fast and resilient. So I think for any agency owner or operator that's looking to protect their ad performance and eliminate those kind of costly disruptions, this conversation should give you a practical framework for turning that into compliance from like a risk into an actual advantage. So welcome. I'm excited to talk with you.
Thank you so much for having us on.
Yeah, we're really excited
You
for this
bet.
conversation.
Yeah, of course. So I want to start it by let's talk about the kind of the role of compliance in marketing, modern marketing systems. How should agency leaders and marketing teams think about compliance today, especially as campaigns become more, complex and multi-channel?
Yes, I think where we see it these days is people are creating content on a daily basis. This is our way to connect with our users, with our buyers, with our customers. And that type of marketing just kind of changed in the last 5 years, I would say, where we're just working with people that are maybe outside of our brand, and these are influencers or people that are actually using our products, and they're recommending it. And when it comes to working with outside vendors that are not part of your brand, that are living and breathing, the how to talk about your brand, how to market it, and then compliance becomes a risk. Because then you have people that are just saying things about your brand without really thinking what is the risk that associated with it. And then it becomes really hard to monitor it, and then enforce it as well. So we came across it, in our agency years ago when we worked with influencers or other affiliate marketers or digital marketers that are helping us promote brands that are considered highly regulated or like under this risky category like cannabis or alcohol or supplements. And then when you work with these influencers that are talking about your brand, you really have to be careful how you present the brand, just because of all of the policies that they have to make sure they're following, and not getting sued or, like you said, getting their ads rejected or account shutdowns. But it can be much worse than just like losing your ad account.
Right.
Yeah, and just piggybacking off of that is just something where all these teams are working in silos. And so it should be something where ultimately they're working together to ensure the betterment of the brand. But because they are working in silos, then it really just kind of creates this disconnect and this eternal loop, so to speak, between the marketing teams and legal teams or compliance officers that are within the brand.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. What are some of the common ways compliance like slows down campaigns or limits growth? Like tell me a little bit more about how that actually happens.
Yeah, I mean, I can speak as far as like the affiliate side or as far as working with large publications. Lior has a little bit more insight as far as like actual platforms. But as far as the affiliate side, I mean, say you're working with a large company such as a finance company like Robinhood, and they have certain content that they need to be posted and advertised, but it's on the betterment and the behalf of the affiliate or advertiser publication to really say whatever that they can to ensure that they're getting the most profit for their advertising spend, right? So at the end of the day, it's really not the liability of them, it's the liability of the brand. And so it's something where we're constantly going back and forth between the brand, the affiliates, different publications to ensure that all messaging was all uniform and to ensure
Mm,
something that's not going to bite anybody in the butt later on. So that was definitely
right.
something where with affiliates or with any type of influencers, publications, where this definitely is something where the policy teams, they really come into play. And it's,
Yep.
kind of this huge back and forth.
Yeah.
Got
And
it.
then on the paid media side,
Yep.
obviously when you work with ad platforms like Meta, TikTok, Google, they have their own policies about each type of product or category that you're in that you have to follow. And by the way, those rules
Hmm.
change from platform to platform. And so when you advertise on these platforms and you're creating your campaign, you basically don't know what the outcome will be until the campaign is basically published. So you're working on the ad copy, you're working on your creatives, the landing page or the funnel that you just created specifically for this product launch. You put everything into Meta, you click that publish button just to find out that your ads got rejected. Some of In
Hmm.
some cases, again, like accounts get shut down, and then you have to have a back and forth with the ad platform itself to understand, first of all, why they rejected your ad. A lot of the time, I would say
Mm,
90% of the time, you don't know why you got rejected. And some of the
mm,
times, even the rep that you're working with needs to find out more why, your ad got rejected and how to help you. So this is where we
mhm.
shorten that time of just before you even publish your campaign with Loopholes, you can find out if the ad will get approved or rejected by which ad platform and
Mhm.
suggesting fixes. So before you even hit that publish button, you already know what the outcome will be. And that it's
Yeah.
saving you time, money. And we see a lot of teams that lose creativity, specifically when they work with these highly regulated products
Mm,
because they don't know what they are
yep.
allowed to say or not allowed to say. They're just, okay, let's just, as long as we get our
Yeah.
there, we're okay with that.
Yeah.
And you want to be like the marketer that you were, born to be. So you just want to
Yeah.
be a little bit more creative with your ads. And this is where Loopholes allows you to be a little bit more creative as well, because you just keep
Yep.
checking your ad creatives against the policy. And then, okay, this will work. Maybe I just need to change a word and I didn't need to redo the whole thing. So it's
Yeah.
saving time, but also helping with creativity and eventually helping you increase your revenue because time is money at the end of the day. So if you know which
Right.
campaigns work faster, then you're able to scale them faster and not worry about campaigns being shutting down or yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. I I wanna dive more into the platform itself, and I just wanna let the audience know too, this is not like a sponsored
Yeah.
episode. I just thought this is a genuinely interesting platform and also interesting problem that I think a lot of folks are a lot of marketers are coming across, especially as AI is allowing us to amplify our volume and the reach of the message. There's a lot more risks, I think, at play. So I'm just interested to hear a little bit more about the situation, especially for like regulated industries, as you mentioned. I think there's a real risk here. So I'm hoping some of our existing partners can listen to this episode and kind of get more of an understanding of what the risks are. So let's dive a little bit more into the risk side, if you don't mind. Like,
Yeah.
where do you typically see the biggest compliance risks, show up that teams maybe don't even anticipate when they are launching those campaigns?
Yes, I think one thing that people don't look at is the landing page. So I know a lot of people are focusing on the ad itself when it comes to paid media. So they're thinking it's something in their text or the video or the image because this is what they upload to the ad platform when they submit their campaign. But the biggest
Mhm.
component is where is the traffic going to? And a lot of the times, the landing page is what actually gets your ads rejected. And so this is again a
Mm,
type of one of the features that we offer is website scanning or landing page scanning, funnel scanning, just so you can make sure that there isn't one word, one visual, a claim. A lot of the times they're like, even these ad platform consider a review a claim. So you have to be careful about that. So there is like small
Mm.
things that I think it's very easy to overlook when you're like
Mhm.
worried about when you create these campaigns for these type of products. But this is one thing that is easy to miss.
I was going to speak to the risks, specifically the alternative of not having a tool or not having a process in place for this. So the alternative would be either your ad account getting shut down, it would be you getting shadow banned. And if you're an agency and you don't understand the back end and know that you're taking on a client that just had their ad account completely shadow banned, and you're taking on that
Mm.
client not knowing that you have to create a completely different account, create completely different pixel and place it, starting completely from scratch. So just like not having that
Mm.
knowledge is really like the biggest risk. And then another
Yeah.
one is like, okay, say you're like a huge company, like say Goop, and we did some research and we saw that there were billions of dollars that they just had to pay in fines. For just misclaims, saying something that
Wow.
was in their copy that could have easily been flagged. And the alternative to not having a process in place, or, having that disconnect again between the marketing and the compliance teams, that's the result.
Hmm. Did you say billions with a B?
Yeah. Yeah. So a lot of these fines are massive, and it can be anything from like, say, Citibank. They're massive finance teams. So those are going to be from millions to billions in fines, rather than just, a
Mm.
small slap on the wrist or having to,
Yeah.
redo your ad account. That one is more in legal. So you also have to pay for all of your legal expenses for your brand, etc. So
Yes,
Mhm.
even
Yeah.
like just to give you an example, we have a small skincare brand, small compared to Goop, but still big enough. And they have an online store, and they selling their products in Walgreens and CVS, and they have over 100 SKUs. One of their products had one word on one of the labels, and they got fined by the
Mm.
FTC for hundred and thousands. I don't remember the exact number, but we're talking in the 100,000s fine for
Yeah.
one word on a label. Now, for a smaller company, that just to spend that money on a fine, in addition to it, your legal team, you can only imagine that fine that you need to pay. And on top of it, now you have to redo, and recheck all of your content basically. So for them,
Mm.
that was something. This is another use case or another example that it can be, yes, in the
Mhm.
$1 million of fines for big corporations and big companies that are dealing with it honestly on a yearly basis, these FTC and FDA
Mm.
fines, to smaller brands that
Mhm.
this can kill their business if something like this came to their door.
yeah.
Right, right. Yeah, it makes me think of, Hawk Media. Uh, they're an agency friend of ours, and I know they work with some large organizations, but a lot of our partners also work with, medium to enterprise, kind of smaller businesses. Everything sort of in between there. And so I just want to put this in perspective for some people that I think are maybe a little bit too dismissive of these risks. So tell me a little bit more about like the costs of getting it wrong. You mentioned having to kind of redo the pixel. Like what else does that situation look like if you know these situations happen?
So, in general, the risks, if you're looking on all of your ad accounts, which is something that for a brand is an asset. You place a pixel, it learns the data. Without that pixel data, it's very hard to scale your campaigns and actually get results from the money that you spend. So, for any brand or any e commerce, a company, that the ad accounts is a real asset. And so just losing that or the data associated with it can put you months, if not years back. We've seen it with brands that we worked with that are in a highly regulated category, and then they lost their ad account after having it for 3 years. A new employee launched a campaign, didn't know that this word was not allowed to put in the ad copy. They came to us after weeks of trying to find an agency that might have some knowledge and will know how to do it. And we had to use our connections with the ad platform to try and retrieve it. In addition to it, rebuilding a whole new ad account. That whole process, we're talking about 6 months from the moment that ad account got shut down until we started seeing results again. So again, for it depends of
Mm,
how big is the business, but I think for any business, just this loss of revenue from a marketing channel is huge. So again, just
mm,
it's worth to have some type of a protection layer just to know that you can protect your digital assets, basically. In addition to it, we talked about the fines. So the FTC and FDA are always looking for small brands to big brands. So you're always, looking at that, and that can also potentially also hurt like the trust that you created with your users, with your customers. And so the moment that they see that, this company got fined for something, that immediately it becomes, a thing that people look at next time a new customer looks up, and wants to see, they're doing a search about you and they're seeing that this company got fined or something. Maybe they will think twice before they're actually purchasing the product. And so I think besides
right.
losing kind of like your assets themselves to time, money, you're also looking at credibility and trust, which is something that again takes years to build with your
Mm,
customers. So,
mm,
from the customers that we see that are coming to us, unfortunately, it's reactive. So they're already either got a fine, they lost their ad account, they can't get campaigns live, they're struggling, and they come to us when they really feel the pain. We are now, me and Sophia are trying to spread the word in this type of podcasts and to let people know that it doesn't have to be reactive. You guys can have something that will prevent it from happening in the first
mm,
place. And I think it's something that me as a marketer, I wish I had so many times before. And this was
mm.
the reason why we created it. It's because we both needed it in our day-to-day life to get shit done, to make things happen, to make money,
Yeah.
to give better service to our clients, to our customers. It's always just how do we get better and do it with technology so it's not dependent on humans.
Mm, yeah. Yeah. It makes me think too, especially with like I know a lot of PPC, ad managers that are trying to look at every single way where they can A/B test a bunch of different ads and leverage AI to do
Yeah.
that. And so it feels like a particularly high risk now and only more moving forward as these different ads come about. It's funny that you said the landing pages are where the most issues come up, but do you also see them on the actual ads themselves?
So we also see a lot of the risks happening in video content. And because it's such a time consuming task to actually review video content, you actually have to watch it, listen. So you can't like
Mm,
fast forward when it comes to that type of task. This is where we see this being very beneficial, like technology being and AI being
mhm,
very efficient as a task that used to take really multiple hours. We're talking about 15 to sometimes 40 hours a month for an influencer team to review
mm.
it, approve it, do the revisions, get it back, and all of that. And now you can do it in matter of minutes, literal minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So tell us more about the platform. How does it help in those situations? How do you go from a manual review process to a kind of a scalable system? What does that look like?
Yeah, so the platform has two parts. One of them is going to be for while you're creating content. And so that's going to be your browser extension. It's amazing to be able to scan all of your content before you hit publish. So that'll be your images, copy, video, audio, just ensuring that everything is along with your internal brand guidelines, any type of regulatory standards that you may have, as well as platform policies. So you can get that all set up. And basically, that will allow for anytime that you're scanning your content, you'll be able to have a suggestion if it isn't going to be compliant or if it's not going to pass your internal brand standards, then it is going to give you a suggestion on how to fix that. So that's a massive one. That's just while you're creating content. But in addition to that, we
Mm,
have a platform that is connected to that extension, and that will enable for you to have active monitoring on all of your campaigns and all of your live marketing channels. So what that does is it acts as kind of like an antivirus. And so it's running scans in
mm,
the background continuously and giving you reports based on again, those metrics and based on the policies that you're putting in. So out of the box, this will come with all of your platform policies like Meta and Google. This will also come with HIPAA, FDA, FTC. But if there are any type of additional brain guidelines that you'd like to put in, we also do have that ability. And so that's something that's been a huge feature and that a lot of brands are
mm,
really excited about. Um,
mhm,
Furthermore, if you're wanting to do a large scan instead of just doing individual scans, you'd like to do a bulk scan. These are for brands that are working with a bunch of influencers. Then that's something where you can directly connect your G Drive or any type of Dropbox, etc., and be able to do a large bulk scan of that as well. So this is really helpful for any type of marketers, individual marketers, brands, whether they're starting from mom and pop to, huge enterprises or agencies. This is massive for agencies as well, just to be able to streamline their process.
yeah. Yeah. I would imagine for agencies, because even if you're used to working in regulated environments, again, with the volume increase of ad content that's happening today, and also just that we're all humans, we make
Mhm.
mistakes. This seems like a valuable tool to inject into really an agency of any size, from what I can tell.
Yeah, and you touched a little bit on how agencies and marketers are really, turning to AI, maybe for their copy, what have you. Lior and I actually just saw someone post on LinkedIn that someone got his entire ad account banned because he used
Mm,
Claude for his compliance. So these
mm,
AIs, they're not machines that are built for compliance. We have a really proprietary LLM that's built specifically for this. So we always, recommend like don't go to these other AIs. They're not built for it.
yeah, that's a good message for people to hear. Claude is not the silver bullet that everyone is talking about
Yes.
Claude right now. It's
Yeah.
March 31st. Everyone I know is building stuff. It's pretty amazing.
Yes.
So
Yeah, and they're still
yeah, that's good to hear.
hallucinating these different AIs as well. So that's something where, we were just for rewriting an email or something, we got spit back out something in a different language the other day. And Lior and I are
Oh,
like,
really?
okay, interesting. We weren't speaking in that, but
Wow.
small things like that where it really makes a difference again for your ad copy or for, you know, AI to be spitting something back out that you're going to put and you're putting your name on. That's a massive
Yep.
deal.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, hallucination is still a thing. I think, as the marketing hype around a lot of these platforms, spreads, I think people are dismissive of the hallucinations, but they are very
Yeah,
real. And sometimes you can't tell because it's so confident. You don't
exactly.
realize that it's actually an incorrect answer unless it's in a different language or
Yeah.
something.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so I want to talk about kind of balancing kind of speed and risk in campaign launches. So, are there frameworks or maybe decision making principles that teams can use to kind of move fast while still maintaining confidence and compliance? Obviously, I think if they use loopholes, that would certainly help. But anything else there as far as frameworks or tools to help them make decisions?
Wow, I wish I wish I had a better answer for you as far
Mm,
as tools. This is why we created this because we couldn't find anything like this. I'm trying to think. Maybe a different
Honestly,
question.
No, I think like to your point, Lior, this is exactly why we built this, is because the alternative is the eternal loop, so to speak, where it's the brand going to the marketing team, telling them the rules that they have, the marketing team creating the content, maybe going back to the legal team, seeing if that content is okay, going back to the brand, seeing if the content as well as maybe the imagery is okay with them and still aligns with their brand vision. Then they go back to the platform. Maybe it's not okay with the platform. They circle back to the law firm. It's this
Yeah.
huge thing. And so this is the alternative, is that it's going through so many different teams in order for something to get live. So it can take weeks.
And I want to ask about the legal team. How involved are they? I mean, frankly, we've even used it for small legal questions. We have used AI
Yeah.
to help us, not for any kind of large MSA red line document, but for small things, we have leveraged AI and it's reduced some of our costs around legal fees. I'm just curious, how do you think about loopholes playing into their existing uh, process around that? Does it replace checking with the legal team entirely? Does it minimize it? What does that look
Yeah,
like?
no, not at all. We're not replacing the legal team at all. We're
Yeah.
here to help the teams to be more efficient. So right now, the legal team, and again, it's very specific per brand. Because we're touching on these highly regulated categories or brands, then for sure they need to have like a legal advice when it comes to how we talk about our product, how we talk about our brand. Usually the legal team review the website or any type of landing page that they create. Now, if we're talking about a small moms and pops like brand, they probably use the legal team once or twice a year. But when you're looking at the larger enterprises that we also work with, they have a marketing legal team, like a compliance officer that is specifically for marketing. And they love working with us because we just make everything so much faster and more efficient for them as well. We never give any type of legal advice. We just help you to know when you are breaking the rules. And when you are breaking the rules, there is a way to fix it. And here is how to fix it.
Mhm.
It doesn't mean not to advertise. It doesn't mean to don't advertise on this channel. It just means that there is a way to advertise on it, and we help you find the loophole to advertise on
Mm,
it while still sticking to the rules and the policies, so you can scale. Because the idea is that,
yep.
if you're an individual affiliate marketer that work with hundreds of brands that just want to make money off of them, to someone that
Hmm.
works at a large enterprise and is one person at a team, to a mom and pops and
Hmm.
you're their digital marketing agency. Everyone just, want
Hmm.
to be able to scale and make more money. And this was our issue, to be honest. We just wanted to scale, wanted to make more money, wanted to bring more customers, wanted to bring more people to use our product, to enjoy our services, and we couldn't. So, because there was something in our
Right.
way, and that something was it was this compliance kind of hold up, that every time that we
Mm-hmm.
wanted to get something up and live, it never went on time. If it's a day delay, a week delay, or a month delay, and it can be so frustrating. And we lost clients over it, which is
Mm,
it's the most frustrating thing that can happen to you, is that you're losing a client, not because you did a bad job. It's because of bureaucracy with these ad platforms, or just things that are beyond your control, or miscommunication, and things like, or the unknown things that you just didn't know that you're not allowed to say or do, and you did them, and now you're getting punished for it. So we just looked
right.
at every step of that process that we had to do, and was super frustrating, and found a solution for every step of that way. So when we build our landing page, like, we had to send it, to the brand to just check that it's okay. There is always like a missing claim, or oh, you need to add this link because we are in the finance industry, then we have to have this information in the footer. It's things like that that for us as an agency we have no idea, but you as a brand know. So it was just really a lot
Right.
of back and forth and a really long frustrating process that we just had enough of.
Yeah. Sounds like a problem. Yeah, those are I feel like usually the best products is when they're and solving an actual problem that you've had
Yeah,
before, and, they tend to be a lot more the user experience, everything tends to be a lot more thought through.
exactly.
Um, one follow-up to that I do have, from some of the agencies that you've worked with, I just wanna paint a picture and better understand myself, like, how should agencies structure using this tool? How do you see them using it, or should they use it when they're still trying to collaborate with, marketing, legal, operations to just ensure consistency and efficiency? Is there any, you know, tips or tricks of the trade that you see working with loopholes implemented?
Yes, so where we see that, I think Sophia mentioned it, the policy center is where you can create your custom policies. And this is where also you can see all of the built in policies that you can enforce when we run the scans. If you put some time into putting those right policies for the brands that you work with, like as an agency. So let's say you have 10 brands, 50 brands, 100 brands that you work with. As long as you know what are the rules for each one of them, our team can implement it into your dashboard, or you can do it yourself on our self-serve platform. It's up to you. And we basically create the rules per brand. So when you as an agency and your team goes to create content, if it's banners, ad copy, blog posts, videos from influencers, when they go to create it, as long as they have the Loopholes browser extension installed, they will get notifications. Oh, don't like your content is not going to get approved because of. And then they see what are those policies that are violating. So they also know, okay, like I know what I need to fix right now. So we're preventing the back and forth between who you work with in the agency before it even gets to the brand. So I think internally with agencies, it's just a really efficient tool to when you create campaigns or content for your brands, then to have all of those guidelines or at least the rules that you know that they're checking for implemented into our
Mhm.
platform. And then our AI will get better also for your organization. Every dashboard has its own LLM. So it's basically learning from your interaction with it. So the more rules you add to it, the more interactions you have with our browser extension. You tell them, okay, this worked, this didn't work, and we'll give you better suggestions. So in the future, you can
Hmm.
write an ad copy and we can rewrite it for you in a compliant way that is based on your rules, your tone of voice, and everything that basically humanly we're doing in an agency that is in our brain but is now in a machine.
Mm, yeah, makes sense. How long does that onboarding process typically take?
Oh, it's
Yeah,
second.
I can really 5 minutes. Yeah, it's definitely something where they can go ahead and log in, input any of the brand policies that you want to. You want to make sure that obviously you're being very specific so that each platform is tailored, to each specific brand, right? So, um, there are different ways, to Lear's point, that you're able to turn on and off the platform policies or turn on and off policies for each brand. And that's how an agency would be able to use the platform. There is a
Hmm.
way that you're able to just have one individual marketer for the $29.99. So if they are just focused on literally just the paid media or just, one specific aspect or one channel, they can absolutely do that. But for an agency, it would make the most sense for them to do our $199 for their 10 users, or 10 seats rather. And that would allow for them to have their paid media team have access, their content or PR team have access, their influencer lead have access, etc. So each one of them can ultimately be able to have that uniformity on the back end. If that makes sense.
Yeah,
But as far as
that's
the
great.
onboarding, it's if you sign up on our website, it literally takes less than 5 minutes. You sign up and you'll have a few minutes of like product walkthrough that will show you how to connect all of your marketing channels and where to create your first policy and things like that. So you can get started and scan your website and all of your ads within 5 minutes. But yeah, to Sophia points, if it's like for a larger agency or to an enterprise, again, it's still very quick, but we
Mhm.
usually try to help you more with implementing those policies and creating sub accounts and setting it up in a way that will make sense for your agency. So it's more tailored and customized.
Mm, cool. Very cool. Thanks for the information on that. What's next for Loopholes and for you both? What does the future look like? Are you building new features? Are you looking to simply acquire more customers and just build awareness around this? What does the future look like?
I think all of the above. We're always looking for new customers. So definitely more like brand awareness that we've been doing lately around this topic and educating people. We're also, yeah. What else did you say?
Yeah, I was curious if there any new
Oh, the new
features on the
features.
roadmap.
Yeah, we're actually always customizing features for our enterprises. So sometimes they want specific reporting done on specific metrics. So we do a full customization for your dashboard with your reporting and metrics that we report on. We also have like different integrations. And so some, like Sophia mentioned it earlier, we have teams that work with Dropbox or different other like cloud like yeah, clouds where they store all of their content basically. So we did that. We
Mhm.
also have a list of other 30 integrations. So if you work with Figma, Slack, email, there's specific channels that you want to be scanned, and we're able to integrate it to our dashboard as well. So yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. And where can people follow along your journeys?
Yeah, loopholes.com is where you can find us on LinkedIn, Sophia Trunzo and Lior Rue. On any of the socials, it'll be at loopholes.ai.
Well, is there anything you can offer our audience?
Yes, absolutely. So we do offer for limited time 7-day free trial. You can check it out on our website, loopholes.com, and just so you can get a feeling of how it works and if it answer your needs. Would love to see you there.
Great. Well, thanks so much for coming on. Really appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Pixel Perfect podcast, where we go down the rabbit hole on the journey and motivations of creatives and entrepreneurs. Stay tuned for more stories to come. Until next time.